What's going on, guys? In this video and in this lesson, we're going to kind of go over just how to view your Amazon wholesale business from a lens of how to drive the most amount of profit and opportunity to your business, from suppliers to products to just scaling in general, the fundamentals of the mentality of what we need as wholesale sellers to drive success. Because I do believe in business, a lot of what success comes down to is just mentally being prepared for the journey that you're going down. You know, like business is not easy. It's not, it could be simple, right? It could be simple, but it's not easy. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes time. And it's all things that for us as humans, like we don't want to spend time doing something that we're not going to see any reward for. And business is that thing, unfortunately. Now that we're kind of recording, we're going to go over once again, kind of what I was talking about. So the easiest way to be able to grow and scale your Amazon business is just looking at everything from a percentage. Just a number, right? So if you add in 50,000 products, and like this is what third-party profits is all about, is that you take, and I'm just going to share my screen that way I can visually show you guys, you take all of your suppliers and you put them under one roof. Now, the reason why you want to do that is because every single supplier that you open up is an opportunity to genuinely change your life. Like it is. All it takes is one good supplier to change your life, but you don't know what is there unless you can compare and contrast against other suppliers. You don't know what's there until you look at the bigger picture of your business. Now, inside of this software, you're going to see that it has the quantity of ASINs that were found. Now, the way to almost guarantee your success in this business is just increase the quantity of ASINs that are in your database. It doesn't even need to be that you source inside of the scanner. It could be anything. Just increase the quantity of the ASINs in your database. Now, the reason why is because this allows you to become more selective with the products that you want to source. If we go back to this arbitrage thing I was talking about a few minutes ago before I started recording, the beauty about arbitrage is that you can source any product. You can find any source for that product. You can look at the item on Amazon, reverse source it, find a source, find it for lower, buy it, sell it online. But here's the problem with that, is that anyone can do it. With wholesale, now we're diving into an area where, since there's barrier involved to getting access to specific products, that lowers competition, that increases the length of time that we can sell that product and make money on that item. So the larger your pool of products are, now you're starting to get into the same thought process of arbitrage, where you can almost find any product in your business because you have so many items to source and you have more leverage. Now you have a system, you have a business that allows you to have a competitive edge on other sellers that aren't willing to pick up the phone, the ones that aren't willing to open up the wholesale accounts, the ones that don't understand the math, right? Like the math is simple, guys. It's 35 products that make $300 a month to make 10 grand a month in profit. Do that every single time. Just stack that up, you know, year over year, month over month. You add 10 products to your store that make $300. You know, at the small scale, the $100 a month product, $200 a month product, it doesn't seem like a lot. It does not seem like a lot, but you start adding these things into your business. And over time, this is how you see wholesale companies that have hundreds or thousands of products in their store. And they're now, you know, they've operated and scaled their business to a point where they have a company that is now delegated and is more than just selling on Amazon. So that's the first thing to understand with this process. Now, the second thing is the quantity of suppliers that realistically we need to outreach to. A big problem that sellers face in their business is that they simply just don't have enough wholesale accounts open. You know, they opened up 2 to 3 wholesale accounts and they essentially said, yep, this is what I got. Let's source it. Let's see what's there. And then we hit a brick wall. Products are gated, or pricing's not good, or you're sourcing and like you're just not understanding how people are making money and all this stuff. And it's because we haven't opened up enough wholesale accounts. We got to get in the mindset that, you know, the higher the quantity, the more volume that we do, the more likely it is that we're going to be successful. Like whenever you hit a brick wall, just think about that in your head. The more that I do of opening up wholesale accounts, the more products I have access to, the more that I source, the higher the probability is that you're going to be successful. And like in this business, I can almost guarantee that if you do those 3 things, you will be successful because these products are selling on Amazon. Like we know that they're selling, right? All we need to do is just find the cost at that price that's profitable for our business. And the more suppliers and products we have access to, the easier it is to find that product at the right price. So that's the theory behind it. Yes, Steve.
Yeah, hey, I recently inquired about Albert fruit juice. I called them directly. We got on like a pallet level. The price still didn't make sense. Then they let me know about another distributor that they said their prices would actually be better. I
Yeah.
contacted them. Prices still didn't make sense. I
Mhm.
wanted to know what else could I do. Like I never even heard that a brand direct has worse pricing than their authorized distributor. Is there other things that maybe I haven't heard of? Somewhere else I could look.
Sure, yeah. So it's not unusual for a distributor to have better pricing than a brand. Now the reason why is simply that distributors are just buying at a lot larger volume. So you might buy a pallet or even a truckload of that stuff from that brand, but that distributor has 10 distribution centers across the United States and they're buying 100 truckloads for the month. Like there's just a level of scale to distributors that we simply don't have access to. So even after they mark it up and they make their profit, they're able to buy at such a low cost that they can resell it to you even at a lower cost.
So it's a numbers game. Okay.
Yep. And now there's always exceptions, right? There's gonna be brands that definitely have better pricing than distributors. And whenever stuff comes up like that, like typically a little bit larger brands, that would always be the scenario where distributors will have better pricing. And then, at some point, maybe you can get distributor pricing with that.
True. Yeah, it makes sense. I've been doing some work with Albanese too. They have like some mini package that's so well. The same thing has been going on with them. So yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Of course. So we were just talking about ASINs, suppliers, kind of going through that motion. Okay, awesome. So now another thing to cover is the most powerful tool in the software, at least in my opinion, is the storefront. I don't know of any software out there in the world that does this. The trick of it is, like I said, is simply is having more ASINs in your system. The more products you have in the system, the more that you can take other sellers' work, put it into the software, and let the software do the work for you, help you find those matches, help you find those products and the quality leads that you're actually going to want to sell in your business, right? The ones that are going to make sense. Now, another thing too that we need to go over is the pricing that we have with suppliers. I cannot stress this enough. And this goes for no matter what scale you're at. You need to be taking more shots. You can't use, it doesn't matter what software it is. Everyone needs to be throwing shots to your supplier. You find potential products. Like if I start sourcing right now, like let's say we do a profit per sale that's $2, profit margin. You know what? Let's actually go in the storefront stalker here because I pulled in a seller store that I believe is buying from Kehi. Now I might start sourcing through and I might see some items here that are like low profit margins, right? So let's actually start from the lowest to the highest. So let's say this product here, this OM mushroom product, right? So that's actually restricted. So we're going to pass on that. Let's say this heritage store. I open up the listing, $11.20 is my cost. Now, when I open up this product and now we see kind of what's going on with this listing, it looks like it's more like a brand direct listing, but let's just say we put in our cost, it's $11.20, right? $235 at a 10% margin. I believe that's before any expenses here. Yes. All right. Now you add in $1.25 and it's a 5% margin, 9% ROI. Most people are going to look at this product and they're going to stop and they're just going to say, well, this item's not profitable. I'm going to move on. And that is like the complete opposite way of how we need to think in our business. And when it comes to wholesale, like when you look at a product that is profitable, I don't care what the margin is, you need to take the shot. You need to go to your supplier. The whole point of the model is to send 30 products to your supplier with all different pricing and they come back and say, hey, these are really the only 10 that we can work. But guess what? Now you have 10 more than you had previously. And you need to just do that over and over and over and over again. There's a reason why this seller is selling this product, right? There's a reason why this seller has access to sell this product. But for us, it's not that profitable. The only difference here is pricing. That's it, right? So like this is an item for me that I would add to my purchase order. I would add this to my purchase order, not with the intent to actually buy it if they can't lower my price, but with the intent to see if they're willing to work with the intent to see if I can get a better price because everything's negotiable, right? So if I just start sourcing through this list, like I want to try to build out right now live, like an RFQ, what I would like to consider it's a request for quote, where we're going to look at all these different products, whether it's at a low margin or maybe it's a good margin, and we're going to add these into a purchase order. And now we're going to break down essentially what we're going to ask in terms of pricing and cost of goods. So $11.20 is our price and kind of like ignore some of these keep it graphs and stuff like that. Like I'm just talking about the fundamentals of, know, what we want to look for in a product. Like what margins, is it too far gone? Are we right on that brink? Like when does it make sense to actually request a discount from our supplier? That's kind of what I want to be jumping into for this specific thing. So this type of product, right at 5% margin, you know, at 12.45 is our cost after all expenses. Our cost here from our supplier is 11.20. So that's actually what I'm going to refer to. So 11.20, I want to try to get to a 15-ish% gross margin is what I would prefer. So if we take 5% off, we're at 13%. So 11.20 times, let's say 7%, we're at 14. So 10.33, 10.25. Let's see, 10.10. Okay. All right. So 10.10 is what we're going to try to strive for. Now, our supplier might come back to us and say, well, we can really only do 10.28 or whatever. But our cost previously was 11.20, or maybe they can do 10.60. But now we know that they're willing to work with us. We're getting somewhere. We're seeing improvement in our business, right? So like this right here, our cost is going to be 10.10. So I'm going to add this product into my purchase order at 11.20. And now I'm going to, when I click on saving folder and add to working PO, I'm going to put the ask price in at 10.10, right? Need discount for RFQ. Quantity that we test, let's say we want to test 36 pieces. Submit. And we're just going to go through this entire seller store and see what opportunities here and just build out an RFQ. All right, so 11.19 is our cost. Brands on the listing. Looks like other third-party sellers are on the product as well, which is a pretty good sign. FBA is priced at this higher price at $19.98. That's what I'm going to be looking at in terms of the pricing on the listing. There's no indications of IPs here, and Amazon does not look like it's dominating the buy box. If we look at the buy box statistics here, they have over the course of the past year, they've have about 20-ish%. The brand is 54. So we look at a product where it sells 5K plus in the past month, right? So 5,000 times 25%. That's what's left over. That's 1,250 sales. If you can capture 15%, that's 200 sales a month. So for everyone that just wants to follow me on that math here, so 5,000 plus bought for this listing. The brand is taking, and the brand and Amazon are taking 75% together. So I calculated around 25% of market share remaining for that listing. And then assuming that we can try to grab 10 to 15%, which is 200 sales for our business. Yes, Steve.
Yes, sorry for all the questions, but I've kind of got told that like the brand and Amazon, especially when they're together, is like a no-no. I know this is a different product. It sells 5,000 times a month, and it's also been up for a long time with other sellers. But is there like is that the only indication that makes it okay? Is there like something else, you know? Or is it really just...
There's a lot of third-party sellers on this listing. A lot of them have smaller reviews, but I am seeing a little bit larger sellers too, like this Vitaberg, Grandiosa Goods, One Stop Discount. It's not that I'm necessarily going to buy this product, but all I'm doing is I'm adding it to my system to ultimately see when I do place that order with KD, do I want to purchase this product? Like,
Gotcha.
Now I'm kind of in that motion of like, all right, it's a product lead. There's opportunity. There's third-party sellers selling it. It might be profitable, it might not be. So we're just kind of like at that first touch point of it's an opportunity, essentially.
Gotcha. Love it. Appreciate it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're good. So at 1998, once again, we're at 11% gross margin, $211 in profit per sale. And for us now, if we take off once again, let's say this number here, so our cost was 11.19. If we get to, let's say 7%, we're at, that's not right, times 0.93, right? We're at a 14% gross margin, 30%. So we want to try to get to around 10.20 on this item. Now we're at 11.19, right? So once again, put in 10.20 here for, oops, not yet. Put this into the system, 10.20, brands on listing for RFQ might pass. And then quantity, we test very low. I mean, case quantity 72, that changes everything, potentially. Does sell pretty well, but we'll revisit this when we come back here. All right, next product. Are we approved to sell it? No, we're not. Okay, item here, stirrings. Approved to sell 1077. This is a 3-pack here. This product, it's a glass item 3-pack. Looks like the pricing recently went down, offers went up. Now, it went right back down to where it previously was selling for at this $27.45. And at $27.45 at 1077, it's a 13% gross margin. Now, this is 8 pounds and it's also glass, right? So like in reality, we need this product for this to work. We would need this product at like a 20% profit margin, right? So 1077 times 15% at 915, would we even get to 20%? We're at 19%, right? We would need 15% off on this product. And even still, it's eight pounds times 60 cents. It's already $5 in shipping. That's if your shipping costs are high. So this type of product for me, I'm going to pass on. We're going to save it. So we're just going to pretty much say that we found the product, which you already did. Essentially, you would save the product, you'd put it in your saved products, you would revisit it. Maybe when this product bounces back up to this price point up here, you could be selling on this listing, where now all of a sudden at your cost of 1077, now you're looking at a 28% profit margin. So like at this price, when it was selling here, it was good product. And the chances of this listing where the price is also going to go back up eventually once people sell through their inventory is very high. It's just right now, it's super competitive. A bunch of people came on the listing. Why? Because it was profitable for everyone. Everyone was seeing this margin in profit. And, you know, this is kind of the scenario with Amazon is when things are super profitable, it tends to get saturated. Whereas listings that have a little bit, you know, lower margins, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It keeps people away and you know, you can sell that product consistently. So Vital Protein 1736. I believe Vital Proteins is pretty nailed down by the brand here. So like this is a product here, to your point, Steve, like I would pass on this product. Offer count's very, very low. Like the other listing had a higher offer count. If we look at the buy box statistics, we're also going to see most likely there's not a lot of sellers on this listing. Let's see here once it does want to load. Right. So like there's been 2 sellers past 365 days. There's been, you know, 8, 10 sellers, whatever this number is here. It's not a lot of sellers. So for me personally, that is an indication that I want to stay away. Also, Brent is 88%. So we're going to move on. Yes. Whoever raised their hand first. Let's see. Open queue. Steve. Yes.
It was from earlier, my bad.
Of course. Yes, Caroline.
Thanks, Paul. So where it says approved to sell or restricted or approval required, is that general for all the sellers, or is that somehow linked to the Amazon site where it's actually identifying the particular seller and is basing it on your, you know, how much you sold in the past or the experience?
Yeah. So this is your account. So when you sign up for third-party profits, you're integrating your account with our tools. That way we can report inventory levels to you, restocking, and stuff like this. So this is specifically like this would be for my account where I'd be approved or restricted, etc., for these specific products. Your screen would look different depending on if Amazon has any gates on any ASINs for you.
Got it. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So this product here, like this is clotted cream, like just by looking at, you know, the title. So for me, that's a little bit of a concern. And that's probably why there's no featured offers on the listing. Just because actually it looks like people are selling this product and it's been selling FBA. Now people just stocked out on the listing or the price went up very, very high. It was selling up here at this $37.99 price point. So at $37.99, we're looking at 1932, right? Oops, we're looking at 1932, 17% margin, 628. Like this is an item where it's already profitable. I don't need to ask for a discount, an additional 5% or 7%. Now I just be taken, right? I'm just being selfish at that point. I have the margin here. This is fine. And if this product wouldn't be profitable for your business, your expenses are too high. You know, like either your shipping costs or your prep expenses are too high. If you're paying $1.50 for prep, you got to pay $3 for shipping. Like that's where your issue is going to be lying. Whereas this for a lot of sellers online, this would be a profitable product for their business. So like this item here, I'm going to save this to PO, save the folder, now it's working PO here. We are no discount needed, right? And then this is the buy quantity. So based on here, it looks like it was selling like 50 units a month. So it's a slower moving product. We're going to go low on quantity. So we are going to test 36 divided by 4 is 9 units, right? So the bundle quantity is 4. Selling is a pack of 4. So that's where we're getting that from. The buy quantity is the amount of units that you're purchasing divided by the bundle quantity. So 36 divided by 4 is 9 sellable units or 3 cases. So $30 in profit. We're going to add that in. And on this ASIN, actually, on the working PO, we're actually going to bump up this price because that sell price $34.99 is $37.99. So profit is 17%. That's what we were just seeing there. All right, cool. Where were we just at here? Okay, this is restricted, can't sell that. This one's we're approved to sell. Keep a graph, looks solid. Take a look at it. Let's see here if we need better pricing. All right, so it looks like the price recently just went down. I'm going to source back at this 1981, 1980 price, 1980. So like, I'm not sure if you guys are realizing, but the way that I source products is I don't even look at what the product is selling for right now. To me, it's irrelevant. And it's not for me to say I'm not going to buy the product or I am going to buy the product. I'm trying to look at the historical data of the item because that's ultimately what I'm looking for. For me as an experienced Amazon wholesale seller, the only thing I care about is can I sell this product month over month? I don't care about selling a product where I'm going to make $200 this month and then I'm going to make $0 for the next 11 months. I want to find products where I can sell this item every single month for months over months making profit. And I could see by this Keep a Graph that the pricing is very consistent by third-party sellers. It's fairly consistent. It's around this 1980 point. It does drop down to $19, $19, $19.50, $19.25. So we're staying in this $19 range. So if I'm profitable at $19, even if it's a 10% net margin, this is a good product. Like you are going to make money every single month. This product is going to pay you every single month as long as you stay in stock, right? So 1980, our cost here is 840, 206 in profit, 10% gross margin. We got to turn this item into a good item now. So 1K plus bought in the past month, that seems a little bit aggressive based on this sales rank. So we're gonna be a little bit more conservative on this item. And even though this price dropped here, like I am not concerned at all. I am not concerned at all because historically the data is telling me that this product sells at what price? What does this price sell for this item?
19.
19. Exactly. So I might not buy this item right now, or I might not buy it next week, but I am going to buy it. This price is going to go back up to $19. And I want to make sure that I am ready to buy the item. I can't write off the product right now just because it's selling at 18. It's a 5% margin. It doesn't make sense right now. We got to start thinking from the big picture, the macro. Everything in wholesale is all about the macro. Everything's about, the big picture of the items. So now we see that, okay, this is a pretty solid product for a business. And realistically, this is an item that we might be able to sell, 72 to 144 units a month, potentially, depending on the time of the year. So, at 206, we would really, our goal, in my opinion, would be to try to get $1 or around 80 cents. So 840, let's say, divided by 10%, you're looking at 756, 15% gross margin. That's pretty solid. That's what we aim for in our business is 15%. Pretty solid item if we can get that at 756. I'm honestly going to go a little bit lower though, because in this type of scenario, I want to try to buy it at 756. So if I start at 756, there's a good chance that, maybe they won't want to work with us. And then also, I just want to mention this, guys, like just because we're sourcing from KHE, like KHE's pricing is a little bit different, but we're just referring to fundamentally for every single distributor. This is just a practice to do, a repetition thing to do in your business, regardless of the vendor. It has nothing to do with KHE. So everyone's pricing is a little bit different with KHE and how things operate. Just wanted to share that with you guys. So our cost was $840 originally. So at 10%, now if we go 13, we're at 16%, $315. That'd be pretty solid. So 731 is what we want to try to buy this product for. So let's see here. Save and add to PO. We would want to try to test 48 sellables or 36 sellables. So it's 108 units I would buy for my supplier, 18 cases. Our ask price per unit, so 280 times that 13% is 243. Need discount, consistently profitable at its lowest price. Price did drop on the listing. Okay. Now, also, just to let you guys know, for these notes now, when we go into this working purchase order, for all these notes that we're starting to add to these products, so if I just filter down by KHE, so now if I look at all these products in these notes here, now when we go to actually source, we'll be able to see all these notes. So we recently made the notes tab a little bit larger. For anyone that's been using the tool for quite long, you probably know that previously you had to like scroll like how I'm doing right now. Whereas now you can just tap on this and it'll pull up below the notes page. So when it comes time to reviewing this product, you can look at those notes for when you sourced it, to go a little bit further in depth here. So, all right, cool. Approval required, Bob's Red Mill, 969, 12 ounce. Take a look here. Let's see. Selling at $12.99 as FBM. And this is exactly why we're pulling the FBA price. I mentioned previously where there's probably sometimes you open up products on Amazon from third-party profits and you're like, how do they get this price? Like, where do they pull it from? This is the exact reason why we do this. For this, literally this exact reason here. FBM is priced at $12.99. They have the buy box. This product would never show up, when in reality, it's actually a really good product. It sells up here at $20.31 consistently. Our cost on the item before any discount is $9.69. Solid product, right? Like this is why this is here, because other softwares are missing this stuff. So even though there might be a few listings that pop up, you were like, where are they getting this price from? This isn't making sense. This is why, because when these good products are coming up, these are opportunities for you to capitalize on your business. That makes sense. Like this is a good product to sell. Price recently dropped down. It looks like the reason why it did was because FBM dropped, right? The second that FBM went down, then someone's repricer also went down to be competitive. That's the only reason why this price went down. Whereas it was selling at this higher price point of the 2031 pretty consistently, goes up to 2156. Solid product. So at this 2031 price, I believe we're looking at a 12% gross margin. Once again, let's try to turn this into a 15 to 17%. So if we take all 5%, we're looking at 15%. I'm just going to ask for 5% on this product here, because that's really all I need. So our cost was $921 is what we're going to ask for here. So I hope you guys also seeing, like, while I'm trying to figure out what my discount is, I'm not trying to like go overboard, right? I'm not trying to like take. I'm entering the door of all these different discount percentages. So my supplier knows that I'm doing this strategically. I'm not just like throwing random discounts at a wall and trying to, we are doing the math, trying to figure out like, actually, what do we need this price for? And a lot of sales reps and suppliers recognize this stuff. Like if they notice that like there's just a baseline discount, they're like, they don't really need this for this discount. But if you put a discount at 9.49%, they're gonna be like, this is very specific. Like, why are they specifically asking for that discount instead of 9% or 10%? So it's something to consider, because people recognize that stuff. Quantity 267 a month, 100 plus bought. I would go a little bit more conservative on this listing. We're gonna go with like 24 sellable units. We'll test out, and our cost here that we had was $921. Price dropped, but overall consistently profitable and only need a few discount percentage points to work. All right, next product. Okay, approved to sell, 713. Another one, pretty solid keep-a-graph, very consistent, selling at $17.99. Price did recently drop a little bit, down to $17.50. So at this price here, we're looking at a low margin. At this price up here, $17.99, we are looking at a 11% margin. So price is consistently selling at that $17.99 point. $17.99, $17.41. So with the worst case scenario, let's go off of that pricing here. So worst case, if we get 5%, you're at 11%, and then at $17.99, we'd be at 13. So let's go 3% more, 15. 40%, 262, consistently profitable at that price point. That makes sense for personally for my business. I'd sell a product like this all day long. Obviously, depending on what your expenses are. If you have a lot of prep, you have a lot of shipping costs, then it's going to eat into your margin. But for me, I try to keep those things within 3 to 4% of the sell price of the product. So, if your prep cost is $1.50 and you have to add in $2 for shipping, those are the things that are taking away from the opportunity in your business to be able to sell products like this. Yes, best gifts finders. So you put up your hand. I'm not sure if you have if you know that you're on mute. What was that price point that we just had though?
Did you just call my name?
Yes, I think did you just put up your hand or was that by an accident?
Yeah, I just put up the hand because I want to know when you click submit. Is that just for you to revisiting and do the purchasing order, or it's automatically send it to your supplier?
No, so when you are adding these products into the purchase order here, so like if I click on save and add to PO, all you're doing is you're just adding this product into a leads list. So instead of using a Google Sheet to build out all these products you're thinking about selling, you're just using the software instead, essentially.
So, and then you have to go into each vendor that you want to submit the real PO at.
Correct. But you can download the PO from the software and then send directly to your supplier.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome. Notes here. What was the note that I wanted to put? Consistently profitable, not the highest margin, but will profit every month at our ask price. Okay. Yes, Kevin.
Hey, Paul, quick question. What are the target prep and shipping costs on the high end to be competitive?
So I would say your goal as a Amazon business is to try to keep, as a wholesale business, is to try to keep your prep and shipping landed below $1 to $1.20, depending on the product. If you're selling a 8-pound product, it's going to cost more, but let's just say on average, a product that is a 2 to 3 pound product, your goal should try to be to get to your cost where it could be $1 to $1.25 after both of those things.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So if anyone's working with prep centers that are $1.50, $2 to prep, personally, I would start looking at other prep centers. It's just, they are taxing. They are charging a lot for prep. That is insane. That is insane. You should be able to find a prep center where the sticker cost is 60 to 70 cents a unit. Multi-pack might be 80 cents or 90 cents. Then shipping, obviously 30 to 40 cents per pound. So yeah. And then, if also another thing too within the tool is that we could put the weight of the product in here. So, if we want to focus on items where the weight is lower, actually, what's going on with that? I got to check that out. The weight's not getting pulled in. I will get that checked out ASAP. But being able to source by the product's weight, that way, if your shipping costs are higher right now, to try to focus on items that are lower weights as well. But the thing right now for a lot of people in this room is the biggest challenge for a lot of people is just selling products that are ungated, and going through that barrier. So being selective is at least in my opinion, it's kind of difficult right now for a lot of people. Yes, best gifts finders, unless that's the old hand as well.
Yeah, it's own one.
Oh, okay, perfect. Awesome. All right. Next product here, 783. And by the way, we really haven't dove into now going into the brand research, which I should really start to do. I'm going to do that. Now we're going to go, because we found a few products here. So I'm going to take a deeper dive into this brand. So let's see. Now if we can find any other listings. So now essentially what I'm doing is, since I found one profitable product from this brand, I want to go and dive deeper to see if I can find any other listings. We were kind of going over this last week on the call, and we're going to do it again. because personally for me, that's what I like to do. All right. So check out this keep a graph. Okay. Open up the listing here. There's no supplier match, and that's okay though, because we're just going to try to reverse source it. So this product, let's see, did anyone stock out? No, there's been no buy box. Do I have a buy box setting on right now? Okay. All right, next product here. Selling at that low price point. I'm not really the biggest fan of these lower ticket products. We're going to pass. Another low ticket. So by the way, I'm just looking at the pricing on the side. So that's what I'm doing before I even open up the product. So like this one's selling in this $20 range. It bounces from 10 to 20. So I'm going to take a look, just kind of open it up. So big thing about sourcing is just trying to be efficient with how you're sourcing too. So it's another product we're going to skip. Let's see, $10. Let's put a sell price on here. You know what? We'll do FBA. Where's FBA price? On average, let's do greater than 15 at minimum. I feel like we just opened that product. Okay, this one's better. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, cool. All right, looks like this brand actually got gated. All right, let's see if this is now a common theme for this brand, because if it is, then realistically, we're going to take off the other listing because there's a good chance that that seller is going to gate the other brand as well, the other products. Let's see here. Yes, right? So I've seen 2 IP complaints. That's enough for me. Now we're going to move on from this brand number 1. We're also going to pull that product from our PO. So we're going to go. We're just going to remove it now while we're here. Does anyone have any questions on why I'm removing it or how I noticed that there's an IP complaint?
Yeah, sorry, where did it say IP complaint?
Sure. Yeah, so down in the offer count here, you see how this blue line just drops. So like if we look at this graph, like everything was fine, and then you just see how it just drops overnight from 18 to 5.
Okay.
So that is an indication that there was an IP complaint, because the whole point of an offer count is to show the decrease of inventory levels. So it is not natural for this offer count to just drop from 17 or 18 to 5 overnight, like literally overnight. It changed, which indicates that people were kicked off the listing, removing their inventory from the listing. And we saw that not just for one product, but for 2 products. So now what that's telling me is that even though we found this other listing on this other seller found this product and they're actively selling it, which is, where's that product that we were just looking at right here? Right. So on this listing here, there is no indications of any IP complaints, at least to what I noticed on the keep the graph. So we'll see once this loads in. So there's really no indications of any IPs right there. If we look side by side, we can see that this one had just like a drastic change. Whereas this is just, it's pretty consistent. It looks like mountains. And that's normal. But
Whole question.
yes.
I'm so sorry. So if we have an IP alert Chrome extension, will that come up at times like this? Will it show up?
Personally, for me, the IP alert Chrome extension is something that is not that accurate. There's a lot of products that might show up on an IP alert, but there's no IPs. There's multiple different types of IPs that could happen. One could be where a customer is submitting an issue, and then another one where the brand is submitting an issue. So the thing with the IP alert that can be challenging is that sellers submit those IPs, meaning that they recognize that they got something on their account health violation. But what I'm trying to say is that there's two different types of IPs. There's an IP where the brand is kicking you off the listing, and then there's another IP where you can sell those products. You just need to remove the violation. You know, my point is that a seller that doesn't know the difference, they could submit that IP alert, and now it's displaying to you that there's an IP when in reality there's not. The best thing to do is just look at the Keepa graph, because the Keepa graph is going to ultimately tell you whether or not there's IPs for that specific brand or product.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Steve.
Oh yeah, I guess it's kind of like two questions. One, is IP complaints a good way to indicate that maybe a brand is looking towards going towards like brand direct? Obviously, it would be like if it's an IP complaint and they're not on the listing, or something like that. And then if that is a good indicator, is there a way to filter it where you only see IP complained products?
So, I mean, personally, I would say if there's an IP complaint that's going on, that most likely means that there's a seller that already locked it in with the brand.
Got you.
So like this brand already locked this deal in essentially with this brand here. This brand is now a brand that we're not going to source further down. But if we go back to our working purchase orders and we look at some of these other products that we just sourced just to see what brands were pretty good here, if we go deeper into, let's say, Bob's Red Mill, and I go to Bob's or the brand research, we're going to pull out this brand because this brand's a dud. And now we go in, we put that brand. Now we're going to pull in every single listing under that brand. All right. And now we're going to start sourcing through this brand. So we got all of our filters still on here. FBA prices are all good. Start ripping through this. So it looks like this price recently went up. It is selling also as a 4 count, which is not bad. All right, let's take a look. So even though there's no supplier match, doesn't mean that we don't have access to the product. We might just need to take additional steps here. So we take a look at this product. It looks like no one's offering it. All right, next item. Selling pretty consistent at this 39. What is this rank? Okay, selling at 40.19. Oh, price tanked. Absolutely tanked. All right, and this is, does anyone want to chime in to share what happened on this Keepa graph? That if for anyone that's been in these calls for quite a while, you guys might pick up on it.
There was a big increase in the offer count.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people were trying to lower the price and just kept going lower and lower and tanked the listing.
Yes. But do you know why the listing tanked, though, outside of just the competition increasing?
Because it's getting to a point where it's not profitable with those low prices.
But before it's not profitable because it's selling actually at the highest price point it sold for consistently. So why is it outside of that the price has decreased substantially?
Not sure. I'll let somebody else answer.
Yes, John.
I would say it probably merged with other listings.
Exactly. So for anyone that's newer here, I go over this pretty often. But do you guys see how there's like this drop here, just like that just happens like overnight? It goes from 315,000 to now 9,000 in this specific category. So what happened is that these listings merged. If we go up, we're going to see that this is a variation listing here. So this 96 ounce product got transferred to a different ASIN, right? And now Keepa is pulling the data for the other ASIN. So this is actually the Keepa graph. Would any of you guys want to buy a Keepa graph that looks like this? Anyone? You guys would want to buy this?
Looks very low in a lot of places.
It looks like a product that is going to be an item that is never going to sell. So that's exactly what happened here, is that people bought this product thinking that this product is selling really, really well because they're not looking at the longer period of data. They're just looking at the short-term data, and then you have a bird's eye view of this product and you realize that this item actually doesn't sell at all. No one's buying it. So this is why, analyzing data and looking at this type of stuff is so crucial, because when it comes to making money on Amazon, it's not hard to lose money, but it's also very easy to make money. These small little things are very, very important to preventing costly mistakes. Like this is a costly mistake that this seller made, newer seller probably on the listing here, that didn't really know any better. So we're just going to pass on that product. Yes.
So you can tell on that graph that, or every graph that looks like that is because a product is merging to another ASIN?
Correct. Exactly. So whenever you see this, going back to the product here, whenever you see this keep a graph where, I don't know why that keeps happening, where the product packaging. So like where it just drops overnight like that. So if we just take everything off besides the sales rank, if you see this drop, what the first thing you should do is zoom in on that specific keep a graph as if that other merged didn't exist on YouTube. You can go and this will be posted. And then this would be the actual keep a graph for the product.
Got it.
Now, if we open up this ASIN here, looks like this is a pretty good product actually. So the buy box went away recently, and that's because the price increased to $18.95. It looks like Amazon wants that threshold at $14.99. It's very, very consistent in terms of profitability. Now, if we look here, we're going to see that there's a UPC on the back of the product. But what we're going to do, instead of using the UPC, just for you guys to see, what we're going to do is we're going to take some keywords. So we're going to take meal golden organic -32. Now we're going to search our supplier database. This is just manually searching to see if we have access to this product, which we do. Our cost is $604. And at $14.99, we are seeing a profit of $1.75. 12% margin, consistently profitable. Our goal now is to turn this into, call it $2.30 in profit per sale. So if we take off 10%, we're at $2.36. Right? So $5.45 is what we'd want to buy this product for here. Does anyone have any questions on how I was able to just find that product? For anyone that's new here, that wasn't in the call last week. No one? That all makes sense? That what I just did right there all makes sense? I want to make sure I'm not losing anyone on that process.
I mean, I'll jump in, Paul. So you're just going down the list and kind of giving it a once over, right?
Yes. So exactly. So what we're doing is once you find one profitable product, whether that's the scanner, the stalker, then you start diving deeper into the brand. Now, even though there is no supplier match, doesn't mean that you can't source the product from a distributor. It just might mean that there's no UPC on the listing, or there's no way for us as a software to pick up that there's a match. So it's going to require a little bit manual process. So what we did is we looked at this product. We looked at the keywords of the item. So instead of just taking the brand, we looked up, meal golden organic. And then I would always recommend just do this -32 or whatever that size is of the product. And when you're searching the supplier database, essentially what you're doing is you're searching all of the suppliers in the system to see if any suppliers carry that specific product. So once we searched this specific keyword, we saw that KHE actually does carry this product and our cost is $604. And now you can source that product. And some people might miss that step. So that would, yes.
Sorry, just to elaborate on that. I mean, I don't want to be OCD, but how do you kind of organically know when to take that next step to manually source it versus, the more streamlined version?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. So personally, for me, what I would recommend to do is let's say that you start sourcing through, for the sake of the video and stuff, in the recording in general, I would recommend to rip through this entire seller storefront of all the leads that that are here. And then once you're done, go to your working purchase orders, look at all of the brands of the products that you just sourced, and now dive deeper into those brands, because most likely there's other products from that same brand, from that same distributor that you could also buy profitably.
Great. Appreciate that.
Of course. So yeah, I for me personally, I would continue sourcing through the storefront stalker for this, but I don't want to drain you guys. I want to show you guys the bigger picture. So, just going like line by line here. But, continuing, even with Bob's Red Mill, still go line by line. Price looks pretty consistent. But with this, we're kind of doing some more manual sourcing here. So another scenario, FBM's on the buy box. What can we do as FBA sellers for this product? Sell at a higher price, even though this is not, oh wait. Yeah, so FBA is priced at 1846. FBM's at 1786. So we can see that 1895, 1786. So 1895 is what we can be priced at for FBA. We reverse source this item here. So we can either take the UPC on the product, or I'm just going to take the keyword just to show you guys the manual sourcing process. No, that's not going to come up. Let's just do this keyword here. All right, Bob's Red Mill. We're looking for the 26 ounce. If I click on this product image, 13 ounce, 26 ounce. There it is, 1 pound. Our cost is $7.77. Consistently profitable, almost at that threshold, right? So we probably need 2% off on this type of product. So this ASIN 5D. All right, we are going to ask, oops, ASIN is here. Bundle quantity is going to be 1, so I'm just entering the ASIN. All right, now quantity, test 12 units, 770 times like 3%, 753. And at 753, 16% margin, $3 in profit, 40% ROI. It's exactly what I would like to shoot for. Submit. Next products. All right, looks like fluctuation on pricing, which is good. I like to see that. That means that FBA sellers are selling the product most likely. Oops, no offers on the listing. Let's see what's going on here. All right, looks like the buy box recently just went away, and this is exactly why this is such an overpowered strategy, guys. What happens when there's no offers on the listing? No one could buy the product. No one could buy this ASIN here. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, you guys want to make a ton of money in your business, just follow these strategies. I'm telling you, I promise you. This is gold right here. Product that's $11,000 in grocery. No offers on the listing because everyone's sold out of inventory. If you're doing a brand title search for Bob's Red Mill, this product is never going to show up, and you're going to miss out on the opportunity. Does anyone have any questions on like what I'm referring to with this? Because I want to make sure everyone understands kind of like what's going on and what I'm trying to say, because this is gold.
No, not really.
Yes. Please explain.
Sure. So with Amazon, like if no one can buy this product, no one has anything to offer, there's no inventory in Amazon, how can anyone buy this item? Like imagine if you're a shopper on Amazon right now. There's no inventory from any sellers in Amazon, would this product come up? No. What I'm trying to say is that traditionally, when people are sourcing, if they're doing like another tool, they're using brand title searches, or doing this other stuff, you're not going to see this product. Because when we're sourcing on Amazon's page, we're sourcing as if we're a customer. At the end of the day, we're viewing Amazon as a customer. What the software is doing is we're pulling in every single ASIN, whether that is offered on Amazon right now or it's not under that brand. So this product, if we look at this Keep It graph, can we all agree that this Keep It graph is pretty solid here? Pretty good. Looks healthy, sells pretty well, pricing's consistent, but it's stocked out. So this item would never show up until someone came back in stock on Amazon. But the whole point of being a successful business is to be ahead of the competition, not behind, right? Be ahead of the competition. This is how you stay ahead. This is a listing that you can re-enter with quantity, and now you're the only person on this product with inventory, selling it for, a month, 2 months before other people come back in stock on the product, and you control that price now. You control that opportunity. Whereas when you're following everyone, you're at the mercy of everyone else. So the key here is since you're searching the brand, you're now tapping into Amazon's database of every single listing that you can buy and sell under that brand store. This is a goldmine product. Great product. Yes, Kevin.
That's really awesome and it makes a lot of sense. But I guess I would just ask, so what's the process after you kind of re-expose it? What's the timeline look like? Does that mean other people start to also notice it and jump back on the listing?
So once you come back in stock, then yes, then that product is going to get shown back on Amazon again. But then by the time that they place the purchase order, by the time that they prep it, they ship it, they get back into stock, you're now selling that product at a 20-25% profit margin for 30 to 60 days. Maybe 45 days, whatever that period could be. And then the price will come back down a little bit. But now you just doubled your profit or tripled your profit essentially.
So you can just kind of realistically expect in that situation to be dominant for 30 to 45 days and to buy that much inventory, what you could sell in that time span.
Exactly. So you control that listing for the 35 to 40 days. You're the one with all the inventory. Anyone wants to buy that specific product, they're buying it from you. You're not competing against anyone else on that listing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Would you recommend if you have the space to FBM while you do FBA?
100%. Great idea. Just getting this product back in stock would really be the key here for a product like this. But we got to see if it's profitable, and even if we have access to it first. Because right now we don't see it in our database. So let's see here. Bob's Red Mill, 24 ounce, 24 ounce. Open up UPC site MD just to validate product packaging on the item to make sure it is in fact the same product here. And it looks grain of Mexico, the traditional grain of Mexico, traditional grain of Mexico. All right. So that is the same item. Our cost on the item is 20, or is this the same product? No, this is the item. $5.95. Okay. Item sells at $13.20. Sheesh. $14.64, $14.98. All right, it's profitable. $13.20. That is super tight. Wow. Everyone, this is a spot here where, competition increased. People are lowering that price, kind of selling through. If we look at historically on the product, this product's selling at $14, $14.64, $14.20, $14.99, $14.53, $14.50. So there's this weird period of time where it's sold at $13.20. And worst case scenario is that you're essentially breaking even. But best case scenario is that consistently you're selling this product at $14.50, I would say on average. And then plus, we're going to ask for a little better price. Let's call it 7%, 15% gross margin. Yes, Marielle.
Yes. So is this considered the same as when it says product not available because there's no sellers?
Correct.
So you can jump on that.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Price.
Paul,
Yes.
sorry to cut you off. Because it's been off a little bit, does that mean if let's say a customer puts it in, he would see it, or this would be a case where maybe you would use PPC a little bit, or no?
What, to get it back to selling?
Yeah, to get it back, if selling basically.
Well, to be honest with you, I wouldn't really be too concerned. So just to show you guys real quick what I'm referring to here. Because the product is going to start selling again, Steve. But just to show you guys, literally why this is such a cheat code, on the Keep It graph, it shows it. So we can see that every single month, this product sells for this price point, at that price point. But when we stocked out, this product sold up here for $18.95 from September to November 16th at $18. Now, obviously, granted, the sales rank increased, But at $18.95, you're looking at what, double the profit margin, 10% increase in profit margin for 3 months before anyone started jumping on the listing. So like, this is exactly what I'm referring to, is that everyone's a follower. Everyone's not looking for the new opportunity. This is where you find the new opportunity. So just a game changer, absolute game changer. Like, okay, I saw a comment in here about KHE. Paul, how to get 10% you have in KHE. So for this specific like lesson, just ignore that it's KHE. We're just going over like the fundamentals of how I'd recommend to source. So like the whole point of what we're doing here is we're not just looking at the face value of what the cost is from the distributor. We're looking to see if we're able to go and take some shots with that distributor and see if we can ask for better pricing from that company. So right now it's 8:15. If we go to working purchase orders here, we kind of take a look at what we've been able to add. So we started with the Heritage here. We'll delete these other products. That way we get an idea of what we added in the past hour. So in the past hour, we found $574 in profit at an average margin of 11%. ROI is 24, and average profit of 220. So these margins are going to be a little bit lower because we are asking for better pricing, right? That's our goal. Every single product here has a better price. So if we change these prices to what our actual price would be, like if we get these prices, all these margins are just going to go up, right? They're just going to increase. So that is the goal, is we have an 11% margin order, 23%. It's not the most profitable order, but that's at the face value. Our goal is to turn this into a 14, 15, 18% profit margin order. And now let's just theoretically say these are all products I would want to buy in my business. Just theoretically say. Once we select those products, they all make sense. We're going to hit submit. And now we're going to go through and we're going to download this purchase order. And now we'll be able to send this directly to our supplier. So like, this is literally what I would do. Like, this is what we do in our business still to this day, is that we're constantly sourcing. We're sending over purchase orders to our suppliers. We're seeing what products work. We're seeing what products don't. So I'll walk you guys through the next steps of what should be the actionable things for y'all. So we're going to download this file. All right. So here's the PO that we just got for KHE. It's going to have all the ask prices on here for any product that we need a better price. So like this item, we didn't need a better price on, so we kept it the same. Or like, all these items has all those ask prices, all the cases, the total PO value. And now what I would recommend to do is once you send this over to your supplier, then I would go through, and once they send back the pricing, just go into your view purchase order and now look at these costs and adjust them. So imagine like I'm on the phone with the supplier and I'm talking to the sales rep, and I'm actively, saying, yeah, like, for this Heritage product, we wouldn't trying to get it at 1010. Well, Paul, to be honest with you, really the best pricing that we could do is like maybe 1077. So now I put that cost in at 1077, and let's see if the margin now makes sense. So it's 11% margin, $90 in profit, and maybe 22% ROI. I'm going to flag this product as yellow. We'll come back to it. Next product. Yeah. So Paul, the Nani's, once again, I don't think I could do 243, but I might be able to do like 250, 254. Yeah, 254, 14%, $100 in profit, 282. That sounds pretty good. We're going to mark that as green. Perfect. Next item, 921. Are you able to do that for me? Yeah, I honestly, in this one, man, I don't think I can move. I think all I can do is 969 for this item. Yeah, so if we increase the quantity, would you be able to give us a better price? Like, is it a quantity issue, or is it just like that you just can't move on the product in general? Oh, well, on this item, our margin's just super low. Like, it's already below 10%. We really can't move on this. Okay, no worries. We'll flag this one as red. We'll take this one off. Next item, 553, asking for a better price. You got 48 units. Yeah, so Paul, you know, I could actually do that 553 for you. Okay, perfect. 251, 17%. Perfect. Next item. And like you just go line by line by line. And there's gonna be items that won't make sense. There's gonna be some items that don't, you know, but this is just the process. Like if you guys just do this every single week, calling your distributors, you're actively building up a relationship. You're asking discounts, not in a rude way, but in a way that you're trying to do business. Like you're trying to really show how much you care about your company and building this with them. They're going to see that. They're going to recognize that you're putting in the effort. You know, at the end of the day, people want to help out people. Like your sales reps are here to help you make money. They make money when you make money, but they don't want to work with people that don't care. They don't want to work with people that are just going to waste their time. You know, they got a family to feed. They got bills to pay. You know, they're not going to allocate an hour of their time to someone that's not going to pay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone would. You know, I don't think anyone in their right minds would go and spend an hour of their day when they could transfer that same hour to a customer that's paying for their rent. You know, like this is the way to think about it. It's like, how do we help the other person? Because my goal is to build this purchase order larger. I want to build larger POs. I want my sales rep to make more. I want, you know, my sales rep to have that same thing for me. And too many people are going through, like, they're submitting purchase orders through the supplier's portal. Like, I've never placed a purchase order from KeHE on their website ever. I've been working with them for 5 years. Not once. I refuse to. I don't even care if my supplier tells me to submit on the website. I'm never going to do it because there's no substance there. Might as well do arbitrage. You know, the whole point of wholesale is to build that relationship where there's substance, because that is the competitive edge that you have over every single person. You know, you can contact the same distributor as me and get completely different pricing. It could be better pricing than me because of how you approach that relationship, where, you know, the other people in this room, they can't touch that. You get access to all the good products. You get access to everything. And that's what makes wholesale so unique and profitable, because there's every single thing. There's like a nice little area, a pocket where you can make money with something, whereas for someone else, it doesn't make money. But that's okay, because that's how everyone's able to eat in the business. Yes, John.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I have kind of an opinion question for you.
Sure.
I do have a rep that I work with, but it is on, you know, one of the platforms that you're only able to order online. Supposedly, everybody else orders, you know, a different way. I was just thinking, I was just going to start sending her RFQs. You know, she sent me a couple emails actually speaking, talking about, well, your orders are actually turning out to be, you know, a little bit under this or a little bit, and it's like you're out of product or whatever, you know, but my orders when they're put in are fine. And that's the only communication you want to have. It's like, come on now.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's going to be my course of action. There is just to start sending RFQs for obviously quite a bit higher purchases. But this has been very beneficial, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. 100%. You know, and like I said, like this right here is, if you do this enough times, like I promise every single person in this room, you will be successful in this business. If you don't do this stuff, then you're gonna struggle. Like you're gonna struggle because you have your competition that's willing to do this type of stuff. This is how you become successful in wholesale. And the key is, once you get that price, you got that price. Like you got through the door. You know, like if I go back and I'm buying a product at 240 and my sales rep goes and they say, yeah, like, you know, that, you know, the pricing, it's kind of tough now. You know, I think I can only do 250. I'm like, you can't help me out here. You know, like at this point, but buying the product, I've been, you know, you've entered a door where other people can't get through. And that is the power. Like that is the whole thing. But the only way you can ever get through the door is by fucking knocking on it, man. You're never going to be able to get through that door if you're not going to knock. You got to knock. And this is how you knock in the business. You know, you knock on doors every single day. You're sending out quotes. You're sending out stuff. Like at some point, something's going to work. Something's going to work. And even with ungating, I know for a lot of people in this room that are dealing with ungating stuff, like you got to look at the brands that other people are selling, you know, and competition is not a bad thing. People think that competition is a bad thing. It's not. Competition is good. The way to think about business is like the equivalent of golf. I don't know if anyone in here likes to play golf, but I love to play golf. And golf is one of those things where you could be playing in a tournament or you could be playing with other people as like a foursome, but you're not competing against the other people on the course. The only people that you're competing against is you, and whether or not the course is going to dictate how you play. If you're mentally going to be like prepared, if you have a bad shot, you're going to let it eat you alive, or you're going to overcome that. It's the same thing with business. At the end of the day, you're like, none of us in this room we're not competing against each other. Like, I don't see anyone in this room as competition. You guys, it's a competition against yourself. It's how bad do you guys want to have a successful business? How bad do you want to make this work? And for those that say, I want to make this work, you're gonna do stuff like this. Like, this is a non-negotiable, right? This is the stuff that's going to move the needle in your business more than other people that aren't willing to show up on these calls. Other people that aren't willing to take these additional steps, that aren't gonna watch back the YouTube video that I post. Like, those people that are going and consistently doing this over and over and over again, like, I see the same faces coming in these calls consistently. Like at some point, things are going to crack. Things are going to change in a positive way, And then I mentioned this on I think last week, but I want to go over this again. With ungating, I really just want to stress this out, guys. You want to make sure that you are sourcing the lowest products you can. So I'll do an example. Let's say we go on the UPC scanner here, and we see products that, like, I want to filter down. Like, I'm going to reset all my filters. And let's just focus on products that I'm currently gated in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my unit cost I want to do it less than 50 cents. All right. Now, these are all the different items that I could buy for essentially less than 50 cents to get ungated in these brands. Right. I could even go lower. Maybe I could do 20 cents, 19 cents, 19 cents. Like, people are going and trying to buy the products that they're trying to sell to make money. And that's why ungating is so risky, because we're buying cost of goods that are higher, when in reality, you just need 10 units. You just need 100 units. You buy a product that's 20 cents a unit at 100 units. What is that? Like $20? Is that the correct math? Or $200? Yeah, it's $20. We go, all of us go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and get Starbucks nowadays, get a cup of coffee. It's like $7. It's $20 to invest in ourselves, to change our business. So, like, this is a strategy personally for me that I would recommend doing. If you're currently dealing with gating issues, like, look at some of these products that are super low cost of goods, even if you have no products to sell from this brand, and just see what items, like even less than $1. Look for products less than $1 and just look and see what brands you could potentially scoop up, try to get ungated for, build up your account health. Like, these are the things that are going to change your business, the things that are the unsexy stuff. But this is the stuff that moves the needle. You get ungated in a few brands, Amazon's going to recognize that. Boom, you start getting auto ungated. Supplier relationships start changing. You start finding more profitable products. Like, everything's a compounding snowball effect in your business. It's like brick by brick, win by win. But we need to do it strategically, because if we're just aimlessly throwing money out, in my personal opinion, I don't think that's the way to grow a business. I think you need to grow the business in a way where, you're investing in the right tools and the right things and the right guidance. Like, that is a non-negotiable if you want a successful business. You don't want to be aimlessly walking in the dark. But we want to make sure that we're also putting our money in the right places with the resources that we have, because everyone's obviously either starting, growing, or scaling in a different position. So I just wanted to show that, share that with you guys, because there's so much to the tool. Like, I want you guys to start thinking outside the box about how you can maneuver in your business and be strategic, because everything you want to do, you can do on this software. To think smarter as an entrepreneur, which I think is very important. So, and I would say for everyone in this room, I would love for anyone, if you guys can write this down in your to-do list. Yes, Carol. So this call is going to be posted on YouTube on third-party profits. If you just want to go to YouTube, subscribe, you'll see, either like a notification or you'll pop up. And I also posted in Discord as well. But I would say for anyone that wants to really drive success to their business, like, just focus on this one thing this week. Just focus on this one thing. Try to build out, like, start adding products to your working purchase orders. Start adding products in here. Start building out a list. Start seeing the progress that you're seeing. Who cares if the product is gated? We got to stop thinking about short term. Like, approval required is something that you can overcome. You find a profitable product, put it into the leads list. Just build out a leads list. See the opportunity that you're building every single day in your business. The same way that I just went and I filtered down and I saw, damn, we just added, for this PO, we added, what was it? $686 in profit in the past hour. How many people would be hyped to see that right now? You at the end of the day, you looked in your business, you said, damn, we just found $500 in profit. even if I can't sell those products, I'm getting somewhere. I'm seeing improvements in my business. You know, like it's the small daily incremental steps that's going to help you guys grow. So I would love for those that are going to pop in next week on the call for you guys to either try to send an RFQ or try to build out some of these products on a purchase order on the leads list. And then next week, you know, I would love to kind of revisit this and see how much we've been able to improve in our businesses. So Kevin, I will try to, let me see my schedule tomorrow. Let's see here. If I have some free time tomorrow, I will try to get this edited, but this call is an hour and 30 minutes. So editing an hour and 30 minutes.
I know it takes a while to edit, Paul, but this is such gold. I just definitely want to take advantage of all this info.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, I'm pretty open tomorrow, honestly. It's not that bad. So I will definitely, with that time that I have, I will try to get this edited, and then that way we can try to get it posted as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, Paul, I was on a call with Alex earlier, and I asked him a question, and he gave me a pretty simple answer, but it's just, been pondering in my mind. Hard-gated items, is there ever an instance, or is there any type of process you can go through to get ungated and start selling these items?
The only way is for Amazon to somehow go in the back end and approve your account.
Oh, so you would need like a pretty good connection at Amazon.
Yeah, it would be crazy. Like I've never heard of anyone getting like unrestricted from a brand before.
Gotcha. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's just been pondering in the back of my mind. I hate hearing no, but I guess it's a no for this one.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, to be honest. There's multiple products and brands, man, that like are so solid and they restricted us. And it's like,
yeah, I found a product that without a discount, it sells like 2,000 times a month. There's only like 4 sellers, and I found a good price. I was excited, but hard gated.
Yeah. Ballione, you want to go to Ballione, Steve?
Yeah, I have a connection. I know the starter on Sunday. We play for free, basically.
Oh, that's awesome. I love Ballione, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, you have a handicap, or are you like pretty into it, or?
Oh yeah. But I really haven't had that much time to play this year.
Yeah, me either. And I'm an in-season kind of guy. I have to go every day.
What's your handicap?
When my dad was a pro, so I'm a little biased. But when I'm like in shape, I'm around like a scratch or 1. But right now, I'll probably be around like a 3 or 4.
That's awesome. Yeah, my handicap, I got past 10, but it's probably more like 13, 14 because I haven't.
Yeah, I was stuck at around like I used to shoot like mid to low 80s every day, and then I just got like I had a putting coach like mess around with my stroke a little bit, and it dropped my scores insane. It gave me like 7 strokes.
Yeah, I got to get back on the golf course, man. It's getting colder every day. It's getting a little bit colder. I wake up.
We're shot. We gotta wait the whole next year. It's like candy and chocolates. It's seasonal.
Yeah. Like I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, go to the gym, and I wake up and it's like every day it slowly gets colder and colder. I'm like, all right, tomorrow's the day I'm gonna start wearing a sweatshirt. Like
yeah, for sure. I got the joggers on now.
Yeah, exactly.
Appreciate the call, man. Like everyone said, very insightful, very helpful, bro.
Of course. I appreciate, seriously, as always, I always mention this. I'm so grateful for everyone that takes time out of their day to jump on these calls. It means a lot to me, seriously. So I appreciate it. So I just hope that you guys can take some of this information, implement it into your business, and start getting the results you guys are looking for in your companies, So this is all stuff that on my journey of selling on Amazon, been able to learn, and just through trial and tribulations. And, obviously, if I can help someone else in this room, then I want to. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the call. And if this is your first call here, welcome to these calls. I only want to make them better. We're only going to continue to improve on the tool, make it better. What you guys still see here on the software is like still a rough draft. Like even today, I'm not sure if anyone noticed or tried to like upload a catalog, but we changed the upload process here a little bit, just to try to make it a little bit more like user friendly. So it's drag and drop in here, and then like just kind of breaking down how to do it. So just trying to like every day, trying to make these small little steps to make the tool better. And as always, if you guys have any suggestions or anything that you would like to see in the tool, just let me know. I'm always open ears to how we can improve it. And we got a laundry list of things that we're gonna be doing soon. So I appreciate everyone's time, and I'll get this call posted, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Keep crushing it, and I'll see you guys next week. So
God bless, brother. Good night.
God bless. Take care, man.